Tiffany Cano here, producer of the LA Tribune's Pillars of Power, discovering the hidden secrets behind achieving greatness. And we have Dr. Alisha Das here. She is a fellow cast member for Pillars of Power, discover the hidden secrets behind achieving greatness. And she is an amazing spiritual teacher and angel healer and meditation guide, and has been teaching transformation for many years. She has a podcast. She's an author. So I want you to tell me about, why don't we start with your book?
Beautiful. Thank you. I have been talking to angels in their own language for my entire life, and professionally doing the work for 35 years, and been called to write a book for most of that time. Clearly I ran out and did it, but it's all so if ever you think it's too late, it is never too late, right? Think of me, 35 years, just saying. So, but I also think it's perfect because the book I wrote, just it's in the proofreading stage now. It's with Penguin Random House, Hay House, is very different than the book I would have written many decades.
How so? How so?
Oh my goodness. I think you get to a certain age, I'll speak for myself, I think I get to a certain age, and you go, I have to lay it all on the line. I'm going to leave nothing left. And the book is advanced. It is also accessible to beginners, but it's the book I was born to write. I don't know that I would have had the courage when I was younger to write the book I was born to write. It is called Your Angelic Ancestry, and it's like ancestry.com for the angelic realm, where we're really accessing our spiritual heritage, where we're able to open to and allow that still small voice that says, I know I'm more than this. I know I have heavenly gifts. How do I live this life from the place that angels do, which is remembering God with every breath, which is being one with higher guidance, which is living that magic? How do I do that in this sometimes difficult, dense level, with these temporary, donning this more dense human persona? And there is a way to do that, and it's what I've been teaching for 30 years. And I have had lots of guinea pigs, students, which I love and adore. But really, at first I tried everything on my own for many years, sometimes decades, and then I would share it in my classes, and I expected people to go, oh, that's a little out there, and I would see a sea of nodding heads and tears and people saying, oh my God, thank you for seeing me, because I knew I was more than this. You see, the angelic and human realms are merging, and what that allows is a more evolved spiritual being leading to the golden age. And so we're planting the seeds of that, and the book is about that. There's lots of true miraculous stories from doing the work, and lots of vetted techniques from thousands of people over the decades, and it's really putting it all together in a very doable, surprisingly pragmatic system to really open and recall your angelic name and your heavenly gifts that you can use and access in your daily lives.
Can you give us one tip of how we can start accessing that now?
Sure. So I would say the easiest, the most accessible tip is to imminently, instantly connect to your guardian angel. So can we play for a sec?
Sure. Quickly, though.
We'll play quickly. Well, see, that's the thing, is your guardian angel is more intimate than your breath. And they've been with you probably for many, many, many lifetimes. And so if you just take a moment and just be aware of that presence you felt, perhaps you felt a hand on your shoulder, perhaps you felt arms around you, perhaps you've been stopped from going over a cliff or an accident, right? We've all had those moments where your guardian angel was very likely the one who pulled you back to safety. So simply open and ask for them to reveal themselves to you in a way you can receive. You might say, hey, do it in a way where I won't doubt. Come to me when I need you and come. This is the question I have for you. And then wait, and you might then journal the answer. You might speak it out loud. You'll ask for a sign. They are imminently with you, connecting you to God. So connect to your guardian angel. That's a really easy first step. And realize you're probably already aware of them, but you're expecting angels to be, hot men in dresses or fat babies with bows and arrows.
Cupid.
So that's mostly symbolic, right? So you probably already are sensing them. So it's really giving yourself the benefit of a doubt and realizing that presence with you is them. That sign, that beautiful vision is very likely your angels with you. Trust it. And they love to serve you. So simply ask them to serve you and they shall.
Say your book name again one more time and your podcast.
My book is Your Angelic Ancestry. It's for sale now. Just go to aliciadoss.com/book for tons of bonuses if you buy the book, or you can simply go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and purchase it. It's on sale now. And my podcast is Live Your Love. And Live Your Love, I've had lots of influencers on, Jack Canfield, Marianne Williamson, Neil Donald Walsh. So please do go to Live Your Love, or simply to my website again, and join us for a beautiful podcast.
Yeah, we still need to schedule our podcast swap. So you're going to come on Soul of an Empath podcast for me, and I'm going to come on yours. This is going to be fun. And you're part of the film now. What had you want to be a yes for this?
Just like you, Tiffany, and like so many of us on a spiritual path, it is. At some point, I decided that I had lived enough lifetimes for myself, and this one I would live for God. I would live God's life for me. And when Donna approached me about this, it was an immediate yes. And then bringing others to participate in it was such a joy. And of course, getting to film it in my studio was just icing on the cake.
Yes. And with our 5 pillars, money, spirituality, relationships, health, mental wellness, what pillar do you resonate the most with? And I think I can guess, but let me hear it from the horse's mouth or the angel's mouth.
I don't even think you have to have your incredible psychic abilities to guess. But I am going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench, because that's kind of my personality. We got to be a little bit of a rebel. No, of course, spirit. But I must say that that's why I went and I studied psychology and got all the degrees in psychology and counseling as well, because we need to address the whole being. So yes, of course, spirit is all that is and all consuming and the most important to me personally. But I am almost as equally passionate about having the health on all the levels, because we are multidimensional beings. And I have seen, because I've been on a spiritual path and living in ashrams and on the privileged to be on the inner circle of many of them, that if we don't address the whole being, including wealth, including health, including the psychology, mental, mindset, etc., then we can do a spiritual bypass. And we're not fully bringing the spirit into the physical as well.
So for those who are unfamiliar with spiritual bypass, tell us what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is, if we are not fully engaged in this place that is not nearly as much fun as going and meditating and hearing the sounds of the realms, and I'm with you, sister, like if I could go back on that mountaintop, I'd be like, yeah, I got my hiking boots on, I'm out, right? But to pick up our lives and live for God is much harder.
It is.
Right, yeah. So by spiritual bypass, my experience with that And I've done it. I've got 2 hands and a foot in the air on that one. We've all done it, right? Those on a spiritual path. It's when we try to live from the 8th chakra up, and we say, oh, I don't really want to deal with paying taxes and health and relationships when people are annoying. So I'm just going to meditate, and it's going to just all go away. And we're not really honoring our beautiful inner child, our beautiful humanity, other people's humanity. You know what the quintessence of spiritual bypass is, Mama?
Tell me, sister.
Well, of course, to make this timely, even though this is going to be a timeless film, of course, I just ran through flames to get out of the fire.
No, I mean, she literally ran through flames from the recent local fires here in Los Angeles. And I know so many people who've lost their homes. You do too. I've been praying for you since it started because it was in your neighborhood, and thank goodness with all the blessings and protection, your house is safe.
It's absolutely astounding. And because my house is right in the genesis of the fire. The fire started about 1.5 miles from my home on a hiking trail that I go all the time, would walk my dog on. It's where it started. The fire then, and literally, and this because so many people reached out to me, but I don't care if it was the tax attorney, everybody. I'm like, pray for, and then I give my address. Pray, and I kept. And I'll talk more about this later, but I used all the things we're learning in this film, right? The visualization, the manifestation, the acting as if, the continual prayer, and everything burned around, and God bless those people, and I absolutely do constantly. And there's one little teardrop that did not, and my home is in that, and it's in that bubble of light. And to me, that's not, now here's going full circle, spiritual bypass. That's not because I do believe it's prayer, but I also believe that it could have just as equally been me in those ashes, and I have massive compassion. Spiritual bypass would be, I literally did run through flames. I've got borrowed shoes on. I had thank God I came out with my hiking boots because we had to get out in a few passes. We couldn't evacuate the first time because there was 100 abandoned cars on Palisades Drive, which I'll tell this whole story later. But spiritual bypass would be, I just went through this life and death situation, right? Thank God my family's safe, but people didn't know. And then spiritual bypass would be when people are like, well, it all happens for a reason. Or somebody's literally, their house is of 25 years is burned to the ground, and somebody's like, oh, it's a cleansing. Like, no, babes, you have to, humanity first. Right? Humanity. I'm so sorry, my love. What can I do for you? Let me surround you in love. Address your humanity first. Then when the crisis is over, then we can talk about how to rise up in the chakras and go, okay, here's the silver lining. Here's the growth opportunity.
Yeah, here's the lessons. Here's the karma that got worked out. But if you're not coming from that heart-centered space, just being able to have that compassion, it makes it really, dehumanizing, disconnecting, disrespectful, and can just cause a lot of distance. So again, I love that you've been practicing what you teach and help others with. I mean, you had to, like, it was life or death. You had to. And that is what saved you, your family, and you're still in the thick of things, and yet you're here.
And that's a God thing. That is how I live my life to the best of my ability, which is I heard to come. So literally yesterday, I'm in my one sweatpant outfit that I ran out in, and last thing I felt like doing was shopping. Which is, if you're a woman and you don't want to shop, not to be sexist, but like something's up, right? And I heard to be here, and I knew I had to be here. And when we follow that voice, grace ensues. Now, grace is sometimes fierce grace, Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get back to my home for a year. I may need to throw away everything in the home because it's a lot of ashes and it's a lot of toxins, etc. But so sometimes it's fierce grace, to borrow Ram Dass's term. But grace always, always, always ensues when we follow that still small voice, which is too darn still and small, I got to say. But when we practice following that voice, it does become more obvious, more and more obvious. And when we build that muscle of following that voice, it does become easier. It doesn't always become, it's not easy, but it always becomes more clear, more simple. And then the test can get more refined, and we've got to then hone our spiritual senses to discern that voice. But in my experience, especially when we don't want to follow that voice and we follow that voice, our lives are magical. Magical.
Magical, and it cultivates our spiritual muscles to a high degree and caliber. Well, again, I'm so grateful that you're here, thankful that you're safe, and that this is going to complete this segment for the producer interviews for Pillars of Power, discovering your hidden secrets behind achieving greatness. I am in the cast and I am one of the producers. My name is Tiffany Cano, and the Los Angeles Tribune has an amazing movie for you. So come one, come all, bring your family and friends to Pillars of Power and come see me and Dr. Alisha Das. Much love.
Much love.